they throw their panties on the stage for me, it's because they want them fluffed and folded and back by Friday.
This week on Ebert and Roeper, Robin Williams and Christopher Walken in Man of the Year.
You want to really freak him out?
Kate Winslet and Jennifer Connelly in Little Children.
You shouldn't be doing what you're doing. The truth is enough.
And Infamous, starring Sandra Bullock.
When I first saw you, I liked you because you were different. No, yeah. You talked too fast. Couldn't understand you at the time, but you were fresh. All bets are off. You're a good candidate, Tom, as loony as that seems.
Robin Williams is a talk show host who makes a run for the presidency in Man of the Year. I'm Richard Roeper, and sitting in for Roger this week is the film critic from the New York Times, A.O. Scott. Welcome, Tony.
Very nice to be here.
Good to have you here in the balcony. Okay, our first movie is Man of the Year, with Robin Williams as Tom Dobbs. Now, he's a Daily Show-type political comedian, and he decides to run for president. That hardly sounds like a cutting-edge premise, and I fear this film was just going to be an excuse for Williams to do his sometimes funny, sometimes painfully dated satirical routines, and we do get some of that, but we also get a surprisingly complex and dark satire that skewers the media as well as the political process.
I once had a blind date that I left in the theater, and I felt so bad about it, I married her. That's my ex-wife, who I'm not on good terms with. I just farted a little while back there, if you wanted to ask. And if you find any other nonsense you'd like to talk about, I'll be glad to discuss it. I'm at full disclosure. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for the campaign. It's going to be a whole new ball game, so brace yourselves, people.
Christopher Walken has some signature oddball monologues. I love those, as Tom's manager. And the wonderfully acidic Louis Black plays his wisecracking head writer.
You want to talk about a serious issue. Nowadays, people tune out.
Wait a second.
What?
Do you think anybody remembers the issues? When there's a debate, do you think, when was the last time any human being, any American watched the debate and went, oh, God, did you hear what he said?
I believe he talked about fiscal policy.
Oh, my God, my eyes are open and I can hear again.
Laura Linney, who brings such a realistic approach to her storyline that it's like something out of another movie, plays a computer researcher who believes Jack won the election because of a massive glitch in the system.
You're going to be president of the United States.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not so bad.
Man of the Year is written and directed by Barry Levinson, who mines some of the territory he explored in the far superior Wag the Dog. At times, Levinson hits his targets with great precision. At other times, he flails about as Williams overdoes it with the stand-up routines. Yet, I'm giving Man of the Year a mild thumbs up for the smart observations about the political process, some truly funny bits from Williams, and the always entertaining madness of Christopher Walken. So I kind of wavered, but I'm here.
Well, I'm all the way down.
Alrighty then. Thanks for stopping by.
Okay, we'll get off to a good start. You know, I like Christopher Walken. I think Robin Williams can be funny. Laura Linney's a wonderful actress. But I have to say that the toothlessness and the kind of timidity of this political satire really bothered me. I mean, I think it was a big missed opportunity. Wag the Dog is a really sharp, memorable, very knowing and insightful satire. And this one, it just runs away from every single interesting, controversial, and provocative political idea or theme that's out there in the world.
Well, I wonder, too, if maybe Levinson was thinking, well, I want this thing not just to be of the moment, so he didn't want to get too much into current events, so it would be immediately dated. I disagree. I think there are times when it does take targets on head on. I think the debate scene where Williams kind of runs wild is a lot of fun, and it's got almost like a kind of a, an applause-inducing moment where he's saying a lot of things I think a lot of us feel about the process.
But the problem, I think that is a fun scene, but the problem is I think that it's not just that Levinson doesn't want this to be dated, but I feel like he or the studio doesn't really want to offend anyone. So you have, you know, when this sort of bold, truth-telling comedian comes up and says his piece, what does he say? The educational system is terrible. The lobbyists and special interests control everything. Who's arguing?
But Tony, how about the stuff like when they're asking about his personal life and he's like, I inhaled, I did this, I did that. I mean, that to me is so refreshing because we want a candidate that would say things like that and just stop with all the spinning that goes on with all the debates. And you can't tell the difference between the Democrats and the Republicans half the time because they all seem like they came out of the same machine.
Well, see, I would say that's a weakness of the movie right there because it seems to me that more often than not, you probably can tell the difference. And that the difference is what people are arguing about and what would make for a very interesting and provocative political satire on the order of the stuff that happens on television, the Jon Stewart, Bill Maher kind of, you know, really punchy TV satire.
Well, as I said, it's definitely an uneven film, but there was just enough for me to recommend it.
Okay. Not quite enough for me. Our next movie is Infamous, which tells the story of how the writer Truman Capote traveled from the glamorous social whirl of New York to the plains of Kansas to report on a brutal quadruple homicide, an unlikely journalistic undertaking that yielded the best-selling nonfiction novel In Cold Blood.
To tie them up, he'd have to put his gun down. Once he put the gun down, the cutters would run for the hills.
I don't believe I know who you are. Or what.
I'm from out of town.
What's your paper?
Ladies' Home Journal.
Oh, I'm not a reporter. I'm a writer.
If all this looks and sounds a little familiar, that's because last year, a movie called Capote, for which Philip Seymour Hoffman won a Best Acting Oscar, told pretty much the same story. In Infamous, Capote is played with gleeful meticulousness by the British actor Toby Jones. Harper Lee, Capote's confidant and would-be conscience, is played by Sandra Bullock, who sports a mellifluous Southern accent and a reserved, ironical air.
Mockingbird was based on true things, and you sure improved that.
Right. It's a novel. Reportage means recreating, not creating.
This is a new kind of reportage.
I'll say.
Capote's relationship with Perry Smith, who's one of the murderers and who's played with a really scary intensity by Daniel Craig, who'll be the next James Bond, is driven less by manipulation and betrayal, as it was in Capote, than by sympathy, fascination, and even something like love.
Perry, I never judge my characters.
Well, here's something for you to remember, all 100% of. I am not a character. I'm a human being.
This version, which was written and directed by Douglas McGrath, opts for stylishness and wit over dramatic intensity and moral inquiry. It's warmer than Capote, and also, I thought, a little bit thinner. It's kind of a gossipy, costumey diversion built around a lurid melodrama of crime and punishment and literary ambition. But I will give it a thumbs up. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, Tony, thumbs up for me as well. I do agree. I think it's a little thinner and more fanciful version of this story. Toby Jones probably looks more like Capote. It's not an impersonation contest, though. They're both great actors doing different interpretations here. And I found it just great to see these different takes on things. And you mentioned Daniel Craig, who does have a much bigger sense of menace, much more, you know, he's really intense here.
Yeah, well, it's and it gives you a sense of Capote's milieu. There's wonderful sort of semi-cameos. There's Sigourney Weaver playing Babe Paley and Isabella Rossellini, a very brief appearance by Gwyneth Paltrow at the beginning. And I think you're right. I mean, I think this is an interesting enough story. There are enough ideas and themes in this true story to sustain two movies, and it's really. I don't think you have to choose one or the other.
Yeah, I don't even have to say, well, you know, Catherine Keener was better as Harper Lee than Sandra Bullock. They take different approaches. They're both fine actresses. I think Sandra Bullock, every once in a while, we get to see that she actually has some talent when she's not doing Miss Congeniality 7 or some piece of junk, and she's actually very good. So I thought, you know, good writing, strong performances. So I hope people don't go, oh, well, we've seen this story before. Two good films about one subject, much better than a lot of bad films about different things.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Thanks, Tony. Okay, coming up next, Kate Winslet in a performance that could win the Oscar.
In her own strange way, Emma Bovary is a feminist.
Oh, that's nice. So now cheating on your husband makes you a feminist?
No. It's not the cheating. It's the hunger. The hunger for an alternative. And the refusal to accept a life of unhappiness.
You won't find a better collection of performances than the work from the entire cast in Little Children. This is a pitch-perfect slice of dark suburban life. Kate Winslet is a strong bet to nab a Best Actress nomination for her work as Sarah Pierce, a young mother who can't quite embrace her life. She wants to believe she's nothing like the really desperate housewives who gather at the playground every day to watch their kids and to gossip about nothing. They all kind of live for that moment when Brad, the stay-at-home dad, arrives.
You know what? It'd really be funny if you gave me a hug.
You think?
Yeah.
Well, all right.
Oh, my God.
That's Patrick Wilson in a really strong performance as Brad, who feels suffocated by his beautiful but distant wife and his failed career. He and Sarah pretend they're hanging out for the sake of their kids, but there's obviously a lot more going on there. As he did within the bedroom, director Todd Field handles potentially melodramatic, overwrought material with just the right touch. Little Children also has moments of sly humor and some truly disturbing scenes involving a sexual predator played by Jackie Earle Haley. The final sequence of events takes things one step too far, I think, but that's just a quibble with this dark and funny and immensely satisfying work. Big thumbs up for me, Tony.
Oh, yeah, me too. I think this is just a terrific piece of work. I think Todd Field, this is his second movie, and he's already showing himself to be just a really gifted and smart and insightful director, taking this difficult literary material and really bringing it alive on the screen with all of the nuances and shadings intact. And the acting, you're right. I mean, it could not be better.
Kate Winslet is just amazing, isn't she?
She's amazing. The one quibble I had was the narrator, the voiceover narrator, at one point describes her as boyish, which is a little bit
She's
odd.
Kate Winslet, you know, on a bad day.
And Noah Emmerich, who plays this disgraced ex-cop who's obsessed with this sexual predator in the neighborhood, really strong.
He's one of those actors that people might not know his name, but when they see him, they go, oh, yeah, I remember him from The Truman Show and so many other movies. Always strong. And, you know, Tony, with these suburban stories, all too often in movies, I think there's a little bit of condescension that you get from Hollywood and a kind of an elitist tone. I never felt that here. I felt that that Field was being really true to this material and really sympathetic to these characters.
Yeah, I mean, he's making fun of them sometimes. He's observing them in you know, less than flattering ways. But you're absolutely right. There's not the kind of condescension, the sort of smug, superior look at these silly middle-class people. You know, aren't we better than them? It's a really terrific, really strong movie.
I agree.
Later in the show, Mickey Rourke takes on Alex Rider, Operation Stormbreaker, and next, Jeff Bridges stars in Tideland.
Need a little work.
Hey! Looking at movies now in theaters, which I reviewed with last week's guest critic, Zoriana Kitt, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Beginning, got 2 thumbs down. John Cameron Mitchell's Short Bus got a thumbs up from me, a thumbs down from Zoriana, and Maggie Smith, Kristen Scott Thomas, and Rowan Atkinson in Keeping Mum, a nice little gem, got 2 thumbs up.
Our next movie is Tideland, and it's the new movie from Terry Gilliam, the prodigiously inventive director of movies like Brazil, The Fisher King, 12 Monkeys, and of course, my personal favorite, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. This new film is the story of a young girl named Jeliza Rose, who's the daughter of 2 heroin addicts. When her mom dies of an overdose, Jeliza's dad, Noah, who's played by Jeff Bridges, moves with her to his boyhood home, a ramshackle house in the middle of nowhere.
Home at last. Need a little work. Straight to sleep now.
Before long, Dad checks out too, and his corpse sits rotting in the living room, decked out in a blonde wig by his daughter, who takes refuge from her grim real life in a world of make-believe. Her companions are 4 talkative, severed dolls' heads.
Sorry you couldn't come too. I wanted you to. I really did. You hypnotized us. I had to. So you wouldn't stop me going.
Gilliam places impossible demands on Jo Delph Ferland, who plays Jeliza Rose. She must be precocious, vulnerable, innocent, and wise beyond her years. And then, toward the end, I have to say, Tideland stops just being dull and becomes creepy, exploitative, and self-indulgent. And it slips over that boundary that separates the merely bad from the completely inexcusable. Thumbs down on this one.
Man, I am right with you on this, Tony. I have to tell you, and you know, you mentioned some of Gilliam's previous movies, which I think are just
fantastic,
flourishing masterpieces.
Yes.
And I hated this film in a way. I came very close to walking out of the screening room, and I never do that. I mean, I literally never leave a movie, but it was just so irritating and so self-indulgent, and this little girl, God bless her, is terrible, I think, in this role. And it's just one grotesquerie on top of another grotesquerie, and I think it just makes fun of people, and it's ugly. There's no real fairy tale quality to it. I hated this movie.
No, I mean, and it doesn't get at that sort of balance between the make-believe and the real. It's just sort of tawdry and ugly. You were wishing you could walk out. I was envying Jeff Bridges, who at least died and didn't have to watch the rest.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking, well, good career move.
And then it gets into this very creepy sexual stuff, and I mean, it's not for nothing that the movie's big ending is a train wreck.
Hated this movie. Okay, next is Deliver Us from Evil. Now, this, I think, is one of the best and most important documentaries you'll ever see. Director Amy Berg's extraordinary film focuses on one of the most despicable criminals in the world, a wolf in priest's clothing named Oliver O'Grady. He has a seemingly gentle demeanor and a lilting Irish accent out of a 1940s movie, but for decades, this trusted man of the cloth preyed on dozens, maybe hundreds of children.
And if they said to me, well, do you feel aroused when you see women? I'd probably say no. Do you feel aroused when you see men? No. I said, do you feel aroused when you see children? I said, well, maybe. How about children who are in swimsuits? I said, yeah.
If there's anything in the world as shameful and despicable as O'Grady's crimes, it's the cover-up by the Archdiocese. His cardinals knew he was a pedophile, yet instead of turning him into the police, they would simply transfer this monster to another parish.
He had sexual urges towards a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old or an 11-year-old. Is that cause to remove him from ministry?
No.
And the church just moved them to another place where they have kids. Why didn't they just take him out? Why didn't they admit it?
But there are heroes in this story, including these families and the members of the church who refuse to participate in the conspiracy of silence. At the end of Deliver Us from Evil, we see O'Grady out of prison, walking the streets of Ireland, standing near children. It's a chilling, obscene image. This, Tony, I think is a great film.
I think this is a really, really strong documentary. And it's one of the things that's different about it. There was another documentary, I think, called Twist of Faith by Kirby Dick a few years ago on a similar subject. This one, those interviews with O'Grady himself are because he's this, twinkly, charming guy. He acknowledges what he's done, but it doesn't seem to occur to him that he's done anything wrong. There's no remorse, there's no guilt. He says, you know, I was overly affectionate, and there's that.
There were incidents.
There were incidents. I offended
the line,
people.
and then, you know, you hear in very graphic details that we don't need to go into here what he actually did, and there's no dispute about this. You know, I mean, and the thing that I said, you know, you see the testimony of these cardinals, and you hear the archdiocese saying, well, you know, we didn't know this, or we thought because it was with a girl that it's not the same as if he had done something to a boy, and it just.
Although
you know,
he did to both boys and girls.
Yeah, and you know, Tony, I mean, I went to Catholic school, I was brought up Catholic, and I see this, and it just makes me sick. It just.
Well, because you see the betrayal. I mean, these are people who you know have such faith in the church and such trust in this man, and to be betrayed not just by him, not just by this individual, but by the whole institution. It just really it just sickens you.
It's a truly important piece of work. Also opening this weekend is Alex Rider, Operation Stormbreaker. I forgot most of it about 20 seconds after it was over. This is a junior high James Bond movie starring Alex Pettyfer, which sounds more like the name of a James Bond starlet, come to think of it, but he plays a teenage secret agent. Now, Tony, I do give style points to Mickey Rourke as a villainous billionaire who piles on more makeup than Jessica Simpson on a video shoot. I don't know what he's doing, but it's kind of interesting. There's a top-notch cast of supporting players, including Ewan McGregor, Bill Nighy, and Stephen Fry. But the kid, the Spy Kid story, he's a bore. The story's a bore. Thumbs down.
I completely agree. I mean, there's no character there. There's sort of chase scenes you've seen before. Yes, I like Mickey Rourke's eyeshadow. I like Bill Nighy's mustache, but that's not enough of a reason to go see this movie.
No, it's not. It's a Halloween party, but not a movie. Okay, when we come back, the best titles on DVD in the Thumbs Up video segment. But first, a look at what Tony and I will review on next week's show.
People of France are hungry.
The king and queen are complete blunderers.
The magician makes this ordinary something do something extraordinary.
Yes, bebop, rebop.
Okay, looking at movies new on DVD, Meryl Streep and Lindsay Lohan in A Prairie Home Companion. It got a big thumbs up from Roger, a thumbs down from me. John Malkovich, he's great in Art School Confidential. That got 2 thumbs up. And Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties. A thumbs up from Roger and a thumbs down from me. Now, my video pick this week, Tony, is the Humphrey Bogart Signature Collection Volume 2. Not the sexiest title in the world, but I really want to concentrate on the 3-disc version of The Maltese Falcon.
Oh, wow.
Might be a film I've seen more than any other movie. Since I was a kid, I've seen this so many times. I love this movie, and the performances are amazing. Of course, everybody knows how great Bogart is, but I want to show a clip here of Peter Lorre, who really got away with a lot because his character obviously has a certain kind of, let's say, flamboyance, and the way they did it in 1941 is pretty amazing.
See, Mr. Spade, I'm trying to recover ornament that, shall we say, has been mislaid.
This is probably also the finest version I've ever seen on DVD. Just a beautiful transfer.
My pick this week is Reg, Warren Beatty's epic of the Russian Revolution and love and war among the left-wing intellectuals of early 20th century America. It came out 25 years ago. It's never been available on DVD before, and for the first time, Mr. Beatty himself has done some extras. He's part of a documentary that's part of this 2-disc set, and it's just, I think it really holds up well. In some ways, it's an even richer and more topical movie now than when it was made in 1981. Jack Nicholson is just terrific as Eugene O'Neill. Very one of his last, I think, un-Jack performances.
What a heartbreaker you are, Louise.
I think this is a great film. It's a thrill that it's available on this great DVD version.
I mean, you forget just how rich it is.
It's a classic, yeah. Okay, so the Humphrey Bogart Signature Collection Volume 2 is in stores now. The 25th anniversary edition of Reds will be available Tuesday.
Closed captioning for Ebert and Roeper is sponsored by MovieTickets.com. Don't miss another show. Buy your tickets online at MovieTickets.com, your own personal box office.
Okay, recapping the movies on this week's show, we split big time on Man of the Year. 2 thumbs up for Infamous, 2 big thumbs up for Little Children, 2 thumbs way down for Tideland, 2 thumbs up for Deliver Us from Evil, and 2 thumbs down for Alex Rider, Operation Stormbreaker. And Tony, thanks so much. Appreciate having you on the show. And you know, people keep asking me, of course, all the time how Roger's doing, and he's doing a lot better. And as a matter of fact, if you go to our website, ebertandroeper.tv, or to rogerebert.com, there's a statement from Roger himself about how things are going for him. So that's it for this week's show. And until next week, the balcony is closed.
All small businesses have one thing in common. They need things. With the American Express Business Gold Rewards Card, you can get what you need. Call 1-800-920-OPEN for yours.
Sleepless twins. Jen can't fall asleep. Meg can't stay asleep. Now they take midnight anytime, even the middle of the night. Relax, sleep, and wake alert. Midnight, anytime.
If you want something that works deep below the wood surface, do yourself a favor. Try Scott's Liquid Gold. Good for your wood for over 80 years.
America's #1 value price internet service is only $9.95 a month. Net Zero is easy to use, safe, and reliable. Net Zero. Join the millions.